With Money in the Bank done and gone, there's been a lot of breaking news that has occurred in the world of wrestling. Not just WWE, but in the world of wrestling as a whole. Some of it is very, very exciting, and some of it is very, very wrong and terrible. And let's discuss it all right now. What's up, everybody? It's the Sports Code, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a wrestling update video. Some of the news in this video is going to be exciting and happy and positive, and some of the news in this video is going to be extremely negative. Terrible things have happened as well, man, and I have to give my opinion on it as well. So before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Sports Code YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. It will really help me out, man, and make sure to share the video with anybody that you would feel like is interested, man, whether it's wrestling fans or sports fans in general, man. Just make sure you can share it with people you might find this content interesting. And yeah, let's get started, man. So I'm going to start with the positive news first, because this video has to be solely there has to be two elements of this video, man. I want this video to not be completely negative, because that story is ridiculous that I'll share with you later on. But we'll start off with the positive. So positive news, I mentioned it in the last ride review, episode 1. Feel free to check that out if you haven't, and let me know what you guys think about it. But the positive news is that Becky Lynch is actually pregnant. So she's decided to take time off to go and obviously be a mother, and it's going to be an exciting new journey for her, an exciting new journey for the Raw Women's division, as well as we're going to see probably some new stars come around, and hopefully some new champions. Now, Becky Lynch is the best female wrestler, and probably one of the best wrestlers in the world today, alive today. And she has changed the division beyond belief. She's made that division her own. You don't speak about the women's division if you don't speak about Becky Lynch. You don't speak about WWE if you don't speak about Becky Lynch. So it's going to be a pretty bad loss for WWE. But again, man, this is positive news for everybody involved, man, because I'm sure, as any married couple, majority of the married couples out there would want to have kids, would want to go raise a child, and it's going to be an exciting new battle for her, to which she is, hopefully she overcomes. It's going to be exciting. Congratulations to Becky Lynch and to Seth Rollins. Congratulations to the married couple, man, and hopefully in time you guys can raise a very, very bright young child, whatever the gender may be. And yeah, man, I'm excited for that future. And I hope to stay updated with stuff throughout the year. Obviously, whatever they decide to release is what we'll know. So, yeah. With that being said, that Money in the Bank match, the Women's Money in the Bank match, in which Asuka won, was actually for the Raw Women's Championship. So, the Raw Women's Champion now is currently Asuka, which is a very, very, very good thing to happen, man. Out of all people, I'm proud that Asuka is the Raw Women's Champion at the moment, because I feel like she has not gotten enough credit in the women's division, man. Because in NXT, she was a monster. She was scary. She was considered the best. She had some of the best matches of women's wrestling and of all wrestling, and she deserves to be the champion, probably more than anybody there at the moment. So congratulations to Asuka for that. Well deserved. And hopefully you have a successful title reign. Hopefully you bring those 5-star matches. Hopefully everything goes well. But again, it's just I'm happy to know that Asuka's the champion. I think she rightfully deserves it. And that's the positive news, man. Raw last night was pretty good, man. There was a lot of things. Edge and Randy Orton going to be fighting at Backlash. Seth Rollins didn't take the news very well in kayfabe terms, just pretty much scratching Rey Mysterio's eyes out and all of this, and also the basketball game, which was that for me, that was just a joke. The Street Profits, the Viking Raiders playing in a basketball game. But yeah, Raw was good, and I feel like I just had to mention this good news. And we'll leave it at that, and hopefully everything goes well for Raw and SmackDown in the future. There's a lot to discuss in that retrospect, and hopefully Backlash can give us some answers in a few weeks, man. I'm looking forward to it. But it's time to go to the bad news now. This video might not be too long, guys, so if you're looking for a longer video, I sincerely apologize. But I'm just going to go straight to the bad news, and maybe me rambling on it might make it a little bit longer. We'll see. So the next thing that I'd like to talk about is some tragic news, some terrible news, and disgusting news that's been released, I would say, at least 2 days ago. I'm sorry I didn't get to this sooner, but now that I know the full details about it, I'm going to speak my minds, man. So if you guys don't like rambling, if you guys don't like real shit, then I advise that you click off this video now. But for those people that have stayed, here's the news. Alberto Del Rio has been arrested and charged for sexual assaults on his girlfriend. Apparently his girlfriend cheated, but denied the claims of cheating with Alberto Del Rio, and that's when the assault started to kick in, the abuse started to kick in, the choking, breaking all of her stuff, saying that he would throw her son in the middle of nowhere, throw him on the road and leave, and all of this stuff. And the abuse happened for around this is all accusations, by the way. So if you guys believe everything in this, I advise you not to believe everything until it's been confirmed by police officers, by a judge, and by everything. But this is just the allegations at the moment. So he was he threatened to throw her son in the middle of nowhere, ended up choking her, making her dance for him, and all of this stuff, man. And yeah, this is terrible news. This is terrible news for him. This is terrible news for wrestling, and this is the terrible news for the world in general to see. And I'm sorry that this is taking a little bit of a sad turn, but this is not the first time this has happened to Alberto Del Rio. This is not the first time that there's been claims of sexual assault and assault, just anything in relation to hitting someone. This is not the first time Alberto Del Rio has been involved with something like this. And I'm sorry, this is damaging his reputation beyond belief. I'll speak about what this means for the world in a bit, but I want to talk about Alberto Del Rio as a whole, man, because if this is true, what kind of man are you to just go and hit someone based on a claim, based on something that even if she did cheat, right? What makes you threaten to throw her son in the middle of the road? What makes you think that you have the ability to just break everything, burn her passport, and abuse her for 16 hours and think that's okay because at the end of the day she cheated, so I deserve to do this to her, she deserves this? No, that's not how it works. Look, cheating is one of the worst things you could ever do to someone. I agree with that. In no way should cheating be allowed in a relationship, but it happens, and it happens more than it should, and that's something that you need to talk about with whoever you're involved with. If that's happening to you, or you figure it out, it's all about communication. You do not go and abuse them. You don't go punching them in the head. You don't go choking them. You don't go and abuse them for 16 hours to prove your point that you shouldn't have done it. At the end of the day, that just makes you no less of at fault for anything than she was. If anything, you're more at fault because you're attempting to ruin someone's life and you're attempting to nearly kill someone to prove a point. That's not how anything should go. For Alberto Del Rio, I'm going to pray that this isn't real for you. I'm going to pray that you didn't do this. I'm going to pray that at the end of the day, these allegations are false. Because if these are true, you've ruined your career already. You're probably going to jail because you cannot just you can't just escape this all the time. I know it's apparently it's like a $50,000 bail, but eventually if this is going to happen again, eventually it's going to catch up to you. You cannot just keep getting away with this because you're rich. The world shouldn't work like that, and if it does, then shame on the world. But at the end of the day, look, we have to consider the message here, and the message is that assault in any way isn't right, and that's what the message I'm trying to get across here. And if this is happening to you, if you're being assaulted, if this is a child and you're being abused by your parents, if this is a man or a woman and you're being abused by the other partner, if you're just being abused in general by your co-workers, your friends, then it's time to speak up. And honestly, that's going to be the best thing you ever do. I know it seems scary now, but you have to speak up. There are many ways you could save your own life with just one phone call, with just one message, with anything, just to cry for help, and you can get that help, man. It's and I know it seems hard, but that's the message here. But this should not be happening. This should not be happening. I'm sorry to bring the mood down a lot from the Becky Lynch news, but this just should not be happening in the world. And it happens way too often. And Alberto Del Rio, it's happened to him way too often. We've seen with Paige, obviously, claims of sexual abuse and claims of mental abuse and all of this. And at the end of the day, if this is happening more times to Alberto Del Rio, this has happened multiple times now, at what stage do you come out and say, at least one of these has to be true? Not that you can't just say that every single woman involved in his life is lying, because there's just not going to be enough evidence to prove that. This has been an ongoing theme for Alberto Del Rio in recent years, and at the end of the day, if that quote is true for attempting to throw your child or throw the woman's child in the middle of nowhere and leave, then that guy is not sane enough to live in this world, because that is something you should never ever say. It should not be spoken about in a serious context. And if he ever did do that, then that's one of the worst. That's basically close to murder. You're killing a kid, pretty much, leaving them stranded in the middle of nowhere. What is that? Come on, man. Grow up. Like, seriously, grow up. Don't. You're not any more of a man if you think that that's the right answer and you think you're showing your dominance by doing that. That's disgraceful, and I hope it isn't true. And people around Alberto Del Rio can defend him. I don't know what type of man he is. I've never met the guy. I've seen him wrestle in Australia a couple times, but other than that, I don't know anything about Alberto Del Rio. I don't know anything about the situations he's involved in. But again, I'm praying that this isn't true. I'm praying he's not doing this. And all of this is just a bad misunderstanding, and that the girl claims something ridiculously wrong. But again, there's evidence to back this up. There's bruises everywhere on her, according to the police reports. And it's unacceptable. It's as simple as that. It's unacceptable, and this shouldn't happen. The message of this video, I strongly recommend, man, if it's a child, you're being abused, man, you need to call Child Help Services. Speak out as quickly as you can before it ends up being a life or death situation. And that's how serious things like this can get. This is serious, man. Don't take this as a joke. Don't take this as eventually it will be over. It will not be over unless you make it over, unless you do something about it. And yeah, man, make sure you call those services that can help. Call the suicide prevention lines. Call the child services. Call all of this. Call all these places and try and change your life now before it gets too late. That's the message of this video. I'm sorry. That's the end of the video. Again, I'm sorry if this took a rather bad turn, but like, messages like this need to be said. It's my due just as much as anybody else's. If I feel like something like this is happening way too often, in which case this is, then something needs to be said. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter if you're a child or an adult. This doesn't go well with anybody, and it should not be done. It's as simple as that. And if it is happening to you, make sure you try and find the right services to help and stop things like this from happening. It's as simple as that, man. Change your life before he changes your life, or before she changes your life. You can't let that happen to you. So hopefully you guys agree with that, and hopefully things like this don't happen again in the wrestling world. This is a big embarrassment to the wrestling world to have someone like that do disgraceful things, if true. So again, these are allegations. Don't believe everything that you hear, but it looks like this is pretty nailed on at the moment. So I'm praying that it's not true, and we'll see what happens, and hopefully everything goes well for everybody. But yeah, look, that's going to be the end of the video. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Turn notifications on. I hope to not make more videos like this in the future, but like I said, man, it's my duty to speak out. If there's one person that watches this video and truly truly listens to this advice and it ends up changing their life, man, this video was worth making, to be honest. It's one of those videos, man. Yeah, this video might not get a bunch of views, and I'm not expecting it to, but the people that do watch it, there's always that one person that's in that situation and they feel like they can't escape. So if that can change how they feel, or if it can end up changing them, then it's worth making, man. And it's as simple as that. So for those people, man, have a wonderful and safe day. Take care and peace.